How's it going, everybody? Hanging out over at twitch.tv/Lawler. And finally, Psyonix/Rocket League Esports have officially announced all the MVPs for the season. The best players from every single region all coming together to show us who's going to be attending the World Championship in just a week here. And I do think it's cool to be able to pay respects and give people like a really easy player to follow along and pay attention to at the World Championship. So in today's video, we're going to talk about two different things. Number one, we're going to go through all the world champions in the sense of the MVPs from each region. There's 8 of them. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 of them. I lied. There's 7 of them because APAC, North and South are the same. So we're going to go through all the MVPs from each individual region, talk about them, some of their stats, some of the things that have made them standouts through their announcement, and whether I agree with it or not will be the second thing. Maybe there will be conversations for other people that could potentially be a better pick. There is one in particular that we will talk about last that I think Gibbs made a really good argument for. With that said, let's take a peek at our MVPs. The first one on the list is from APAC North in Burn from Team Detonator, which is a team that I got to watch pretty closely during Gamers 8. And boy, oh boy, even though they didn't make the Spring Major, they have shown massive improvement in their 3v3, which is actually really exciting. If you guys don't know about Burn, throughout APAC North, Burn was the first in shots per game, second in goal participation, and third in goals per game. Also led his region to their first game victory at a LAN, where they took a game off of FaZe Clan. So the general consensus is throughout the entire season that you are top 3 in the 3 major offensive stats means that your impact is actually crazy. Not only are you setting up shots and putting goals away, you're also helping out create those opportunities in some capacity. Like, to be a part of 71% of goals is kind of absurd. That's a lot. Jorby, you're better than this. Sigum's poor guy. He's like unbelievably not deserved. He plays for Tokyo Verde, the other team. He plays for their competition. I love that. It's actually funny. Whether this is tongue-in-cheek or not, I don't know, but it's still funny as hell. I love that. Also, yummy with the banter below. Either way, Burn, pretty dang good. I will admit that for APAC North, it's kind of tough to pick. Detonator has been performing pretty dang well lately, if we're being 100%. I don't know. Tokyo Verde is at the top, though, for a reason. I don't know. I think you can make arguments for other players as well, but overall, Burn statistically definitely is up there. I think you could have some conversations, too, in Tokyo Verde. I forget statistically who's the best, but you could talk about, like, Realize. You could talk about Tenhao. Sigum's great, but what? He came in January, February, March? Like, April? He came in April, so I think he's only been with them for 1 split, I'm pretty sure. So, I don't know. I mean, Detonator's been playing really, really dang well. So, I think Burn is up there. The reason why you don't have LCT in this is because LCT is the MVP for APAC South, which I think this is an easy answer. Gladiator's been playing really dang well. Is playing really well, and his stats show that. First in goals per game, first in shots per game, first in total goals, first in total shots. The guy is an offensive threat and has a wonderful personality to boot. Out of all the like interviews and all that kind of stuff, LCT has definitely been an outstanding performance. This is someone that I think will become a massive personality in Rocket League Esports. If you haven't gotten to see the interviews with LCT, go back and watch them. Did a bunch for Gamers 8 and everything else, but I think LCT is going to be around for quite a while. Also, if I'm correct, KBM as well. Pretty sick, right? KBM player MVP for an entire region. Love that. We haven't seen that since like Torres for OCE. So, and his KBM is weird. When he was playing at Gamers 8, so if this is your hand and you're playing WASD, to hit left control and shift, he takes his thumb and wraps it underneath his hand and reaches underneath to click it. My thumb can't do it. It won't do it. But like if I'm playing WASD and I'm trying to... Hold on. No, he doesn't use his pinky. It makes no sense. So if this is the keyboard, playing like this, right? You got spacebar and control and all that kind of stuff. I've got a dusty keyboard. I apologize. But he takes his thumb and reaches underneath to hit shift and control. Does not make sense. I don't get it. The things you know. I was watching on the B stream when we were casting Gamers 8 and I saw him do that. I'm like, wait, what? How? Like, I have to break my thumb to do that. Must be double jointed. I don't know. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. SSA MVP for Sub-Saharan Africa is To Die For, which is actually like a really dope name from Bravado. For those that don't know, most recently, and part of the reason why version 1 in their first round picked Pirates instead of Bravado. Pirates did win Regional 1 of the spring, but Bravado has dominated in Regional 2 and 3. During SSA, To Die For was first in score per game. You're averaging just shy of 500 points per game. It's pretty good. First in goals per game, first in total score, first in total goals, first in total saves. And that's not all. Also is first in goals per game and second in score and shot percentage in the world. Now, obviously, stats like this, although impressive against different competition, obviously stats can skew a little bit, but it does not discredit his performance. When you are performing so well that statistically against your region, you are outperforming that heavily and still doing what you are, pretty solid. So To Die For, clear favorite, I think a lot of people, but that Bravado team is actually really solid and are getting better and better every second. It's actually really awesome. So To Die For, I think, is an easy one to pay attention to for the World Championship, but do not forget about his teammates either. There's a lot of talent on Bravado, and people don't really notice that right away. I mean, how do you not love a player with the name of Happy Meal? I'm excited for the chance. I don't know what they're going to be, but your name is Happy Meal. Someone will make a McDonald's reference. Like, anytime Happy Meal scores, and I'm going to put this out there, if Happy Meal scores goals, everybody in the crowd needs to say, ba da ba ba ba, I'm loving it, as a collective. Thoughts? I'm just saying, if you got 1,000 people doing that, that's pretty hilarious. I'm just saying, that's pretty hilarious. For Daisy, maybe do something with a Mario reference. I don't know. Either way, To Die For, crazy good, but do not forget about the teammates. Bravado, fun team to watch. Up next, for OCE, it's the one and only Banana Head. Obviously, Kansas City Pioneers, the new gen coming in. For those that do not know, Renegades, obviously Ground Zero teams that have been towards the top for quite a while, are no longer the super mechanical, dominant on top teams anymore. While Renegades is super competitive and has fan favorites like CJ and Kami and stuff, don't forget Fever, but KCP has been pretty damn solid. Like, really, really good. And a lot of that leader is due to Banana Head. There's Super Lackey, Super Leahy, Super Locky, however the heck you say his name. Their team's solid, but Banana Head has kind of been the GOAT. He's definitely been a standout and is known for his mechanical talent. They also, like we just talked about in our recent video, the youngest team by far. And despite being that young age, up-and-comer talent, you look at what he does with his mechanics, and it reminds me almost of Squishy back in Cloud9, using his mechanics to get past players to set up gimmick. He does that very well. And throughout OCE, he was first in score, first in assists, and first assists in the region, as well as per game. Banana Head, super talented, and also sets up his teammates like no other. So again, big playmaker for the team. Can still do the individual stuff, but will without a doubt set him up. Out of all, someone asked me earlier in chat who I think are one of the like minor region teams that are going to progress through. I think KCP's got a really good chance. I think they look very good. So I'm excited to watch this team play. Should be fun. Up next, got to talk about MENA and the one and only Turk. TRK, Turk, whatever you decide. All the people locally was calling him Turk, so I'm going to go with Turk. And it's easier to say, and it sounds cool. Turk is nuts. Arguably, in my opinion, a top 5, maybe top 6 player in the world. Not just the MVP of MENA, but arguably one of the best players in the world. The only thing that makes me difficult for him to give him like a world ranking is I haven't seen him enough in events. Obviously, we saw him in 2. He played really, really well, but for best in the world, I want to see just a little bit more. And even with that said, Turk is pretty nasty. He's very good. Like, arguably a top 5 in the world. He's so good. Throughout MENA, obviously Falcons did not drop a single regional. They won every single regional. If you guys didn't watch my stats video talking about the Falcons and like them out shooting every single team but 2 the entire season, it's insane. First in score in the region, first in total assists, second in goals, total saves, and total shots. Unbelievable. Man does it all. Man does it all. Super good. Super good. South America, I mean, he's my boy. He doesn't know he's my boy, but he's Yanks. Jan. I go with Jan because I'm pretty sure it's his first name. He and I are close like that, so I call him Jan. You know, I mean, arguably a top 3 player in the world right now. Top 4 player in the world. Like, where do you want to put him? I put him on podium. I think he's top 3 in the world right now. He's nasty with it. 2 top 6 major performances. And like, you ask anybody, Furia does not play as well as they are without him. Yanks is what people call him in Samp. Yeah, but he and I are super close, so I call him by his first name. He just doesn't know it yet. Someday. Absolutely dominant. Tied for first in goals per game, second in score per game, third in assists, and first in total score. Top to bottom, man. Unbelievable stuff. I mean, obviously, man's the GOAT. He's so good. He's so good. Top 3, man. He's top 3 in the world, in my opinion, with the way he's playing right now. And no matter their results, he is always performing. He is always doing something to get them to that point. Like, no matter how good or bad the team is playing, he is always playing well. I've never not seen him play well. It reminds me of like Alpha 54 when they're actually in competition, because it's been a while, candidly, for Vitality. But like Alpha 54, you know him as the guy that will never miss a flip reset. Yanks just doesn't miss. He just doesn't miss. He's so good. All right, we've got EU up next. No, we've got North America up next. North America up next. You guys don't know who it is. This one's a pretty clear favorite for a lot of different people. It is the one and only Atomic. This one was more of a heated conversation in regards to who is the MVP. I take a look at G2, and G2 did still perform pretty well without Atomic. And while he was with the team, obviously they've had some pretty solid performances. They got first place at a major and then 9th to 12th at a major. So statistically, he helped lift G2 to 4 event wins, securing victory at 3 regionals and winter majors, which since he has joined, they have won 50% of the events. The reason why they say this is because statistically, First Killer beats him in every single stat. It depends on what you, and this is where the conversation goes. When I look at MVP, to me, stats isn't everything. I do think wins are very important, and quality of like play and all that kind of stuff. And it's tough to take the individual in the conversation versus otherwise. I think there's 3 like major people you should probably consider in North America for MVP status. I think Atomic, First Killer, and Beast Mode. You look at V1 before and after Beast Mode, they go from being dookie booty and just pain from 8 to 10 to consistent top 6, top 3 at a major. Like, they are a serious world contender with Beast Mode. Okay. First Killer. While First Killer has some pretty solid talent around him, do I think it's as good as Chicago and JNAPS? No. Honestly. Do I think AJ and Sipical are as good as Chicago and JNAPS? In the team's perspective, no. As individuals, sure. Give or take. Sure. So, results-wise, I think Beast Mode has had a bigger impact only because Atomic and G2 without Atomic was still performing pretty dang well. Now, was it at the level that G2 is now? No. I think Atomic has definitely made G2 like a world's contender. Like, they look incredible. So, the way that Gibbs described it is First Killer statistically has better stats, better consistent performances in every single event, major, regionals, whatever, not just within NA, but in the world. I think personally, if you're looking at like consistency of results, individual impact, all that kind of stuff, I think Atomic is definitely more of a team player than First Killer. First Killer is definitely I'm the GOAT, give me the ball, I'm going to do the thing. I think there's arguments for others, but I do think Atomic is a good pick, without a doubt. I do think they're both. I think there's arguments for all of them, but I think between Atomic, First Killer, I don't know. I think it's tough. I think Beast Mode definitely elevated his team the most. Again, I don't think there's an easy answer. Let me know. Who do you guys have? Let me know in the comments down below. Who do you think should have won NA MVP? Because we're going to go over to Europe. I'm not going to spend 25 minutes having this conversation like First Touch did. They just kept going in circles. Which again, I think the point that they did make is that it is not as easy and as clear cut as everybody thinks. Last but not least, it's Europe. I think you can make arguments for every single player on the team, but one that gets a lot of credit, and rightfully so for consistency, is Vatira, the young gun. In Vatira, during Europe, Vatira is first in total saves and in total score. His playmaking has led to 8 straight top 4 finishes, including 3 regionals and a victory at the Spring Major. And don't forget, second place at the Winter Major. MVP had to be somebody from Moist. Who do you pick? I am very biased towards Rise and Rise's play style and how it applies. I think Joyo has also done some very impressive things. And then Vatira is also like absolutely cracked, super consistent. So it all depends. Rise obviously having a funny comment saying rigged. True, man. It was against you the whole time. You never had a chance. Again, I think you can make arguments for every single player, but I like this pick. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I think you can make arguments for the other two as well. Both Joyo and Rise are super impactful on that team's success, but if you're taking an individual, Vatira definitely makes a pretty good case. So that is what we've got for our 8 MVPs, and across the board, that's some good talent, and they're all going to be competing against each other at the World Championship, which I hope the casters do lean into. I hope when they're talking about these players, you talk about the European MVP when you're discussing them. When you talk about those, you add those accolades because it makes it more special. We were wondering if Psyonix this year was going to give like accolades like Golden Striker or Savior of the Season, things like that they've done in the past, which I'm okay with them not doing as long as they give regional MVP and World Championship MVPs. I think those things are important. So while it's cool to track like, yo, who are the top 3 performers in each category and stuff, I think at the end of the day, MVP is probably the most important. So track all the MVPs from each regional and then give us like a World Championship MVP as well, as long as like, because they did that as well for like Spring Major and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, if Adam Court and the guys over at the RL Pro Awards want to track some of that stuff, by all means. I still think they need to figure out that panel and who gets invited to that, but that's just my personal opinion. Either way, it's a start. So let them do the nuanced stuff. Let them do the like nitty gritty things. But I think official Psyonix should 1000% be doing MVP and all that kind of stuff. Joey, to answer, I was on the panel. I just couldn't do it this time around. So a little bit of a self burn. Either way, that is going to do it for today's video. Congratulations to the MVPs of the league, all performing extremely well, but not as well as Flair with 30 months. Thank you for the 30-month resub. Either way, pretty cool stuff. Glad to see that these players are I guess being recognized for their efforts throughout an entire season, and the fact that there's still one event to go is pretty exciting. So with that said, make sure you guys go support these players, go root them on, go check them out, and have an easier player, I guess, to follow on an individual level going into the World Championship. So with that said, that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys do enjoy the content, as always, consider giving it a like. Let me know in the comments down below any MVPs that you would pick differently. Always interested to hear your guys' thoughts. And while you're down there, if you enjoy the content, consider giving the social medias a like as well as the video. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.